Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the first globally recognized Australian registered Burmese Rohingya Association. We invite all the Burmese Rohingya in Australia to come join this global platform where we as Rohingyas can voice our opinion and be heard. We are waving.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to ARB Rohingya News. I am Risa from Australia. We will present the news to update and different by others. Before delivering the news today, we wish you a happy Eid al-Fitr 1438 Hijriah. Today we will deliver news from a discussion by Mang Salar. He is deeply troubled by Aung San Suu Kyi and his denial of a Rohingya genocide. Dr. Mang Salar, an exiled decision from Myanmar, is a scholar and activist based on United Kingdom. He is CEO author with Alice Cowley of the slow burning genocide of Myanmar Rohingya and a grassroots activist. He coordinated the international customer boycott of Myanmar in support of National League for Democracy from 1995 until 2004, was the founder of the Fresh Burma Coalition and has been the London School of Economics as well as Harvard University. Zani, himself a Buddhist, has been a vocal voice of human rights.
And the Rohingya have been discriminated against significantly. And that's part of the reason they're fleeing. I think if I were Rohingya, I would want to stay where I was born. I'd want to stay in the land where my parents had lived. But I'd want to make sure that my government was protecting me and that people were treating me fairly. That's what I'd want. And that's why it's so important, I think, as part of the democratic transition to take very seriously this issue of how the Rohingya are treated. And right now, obviously, our focus is on making sure that those who are being subject to human trafficking and are, in some cases right now, still in a very perilous situation out in the open sea, that though they are relocated. I want to commend Indonesia and Malaysia for their willingness to take on thousands of these displaced persons. The United States, as part of our refugee process, will take some. We've put over $100 million into, over the last several years in Burma, to make sure that minority groups, including the Rohingya, are protected against. But ultimately, this is going to be a great test for the democracy of the future.
Muslim exodus started to spread, there still are many stories that are unheard. Since many years now, this minority group has been suffering at the hands of Buddhist majority, but preferred living at the ancestral land despite suppression and humiliation. However, after the atrocities reached a greater level, many of them started fleeing from the region with the thought of at least surviving. And that's what they are doing after coming to this part of the world, which otherwise they think was impossible if they were still at Rohingya. At the refugee camp, I happened to talk to Mariam Khatun, who appeared to be 50-year-old but was just 35. When I asked her the status of Rohingya women in Myanmar, she said,
We are living in worst conditions. Young women are assaulted, molested and raped by the Myanmari forces. Many of us have been forcibly taken away from homes, exploited and sent back to the community so that we live with humiliation forever. Married women face worst. Their husbands are taken to unknown locations for work for days, weeks and months and paid nothing, and many a times never return.
This statement by Mariam Khatun made me to question the men folk living in the refugee camp about the labor system in Myanmar, and they said,
no matter how much we study, there is no space for us in government jobs or offices. We just have to settle at the agriculture farms. And after a lot of hard work in the farm, government takes 50% of the yield each time. Not only this, they take us forcibly to work at army camps and offices for days and pay us nothing. And whosoever raises voice gets killed the next moment.
He added many Muslim men have disappeared after being taken by the Buddhist forces, and they fear they can be among those who try to resist the government forces. These human beings have been suffering the worst form of inhuman treatment at the hands of Buddhist authorities in Myanmar. Forced labor, woman assault and deprivation from all basic human rights has been happening with this community since long. Now it remains to be seen how long will it take Rohingya Muslims to awaken the world conscience.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the first globally recognized Australian registered Burmese Rohingya Association. We invite all the Burmese Rohingya in Australia to come join this global platform where we as Rohingyas can voice our opinion and be heard. We are waiting.